Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're doing another mini episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who is powering up with me tonight?
I am Joe Butler, and a weird turtle man taught me how to release my key when I was a child.
And I am Dominic. I'm back again, and this is probably the weirdest circumstance we recorded an episode, at least between you and me, Mike.
Oh, yes, it is. For those that aren't in the chat, I am in a hotel in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin with a hotel that the Wi-Fi got hit by lightning, so I don't have Wi-Fi. I have to use a hotspot. I'm in a hotel room that's just far enough from the Wi-Fi that does work, and I'm right by the door so I can hear people come in and out. So yeah, it's very... That's why if I sound off, it's because I'm in a weird place. Oh, it's very interesting.
Yes. I'm on the Distant Ways podcast on YouTube. I'm on the Overblood Facebook group, all those usual places, as always. Also, I did not complete this game, I feel compelled to say. For the first time on this show, I have not completed a game.
You missed nothing.
Same. I feel like super bad, too.
Oh, don't be. This game, if you don't play without save states, so I'm interested in what we're talking about. This is a game that actually was Dominic's idea to put on the show, because I found someone that was a sucker enough to play it and talk about it with me. We are talking about Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Warriors for Game Boy Color.
Let's be clear here. You had it as a possibility on your own charts, and I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. Let's do that.
This is a childhood game for me that I loved as a kid, and it's only because when I was in high school, I graduated in 2006, so it would have been freshman year, so let's say 2003 maybe it was sophomore year, and my buddy had somehow got a copy of this game and had it on a Game Boy Color that he brought to school. But he probably shouldn't have when we were in high school. And I remember him sitting there playing it, and he would just play it all the time. And so I had memories of this game. And then I played it on an emulator on my computer because I didn't want to buy a cartridge.
So there's some cool things about this game that I think are worth discussing up front. Number one being that this was among the very last Game Boy Color games released.
Oh, that's cool.
I believe in North America, it might have been the last, along with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, if I remember correctly.
That's so weird. That is really strange, because this came out in June 30th, 2002.
Let's see if I'm correct.
It's the weird thing where every generation does it. You have the really weird thing where they try to push the console till its very end. I mean, technically, you still have Just Dance coming out on the Wii, so...
No longer. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Just Dance 2020 was the last one, and I bought it.
You have the last.
That makes
Wii,
sense. Because the last one they announced was at E3, so 2020 makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. This is a very strange game. Like when I describe it to people, they just look at me because it's a Dragon Ball Z game, but it's a turn-based card battling game.
So November 5th was Chamber of Secrets. I think November 8th was this game.
This is June 30th in the U.S. That's what
November 8th. June 30th in the European Union.
Okay. Yep. I have a different. Let's see. Oh no, you're looking at the better. Maybe we have two wikis lying to us. Can you believe that, guys? We have two different wikis that say two different things.
I 100% believe that.
So let's go with what he said. We're gonna say November. Okay.
Yeah. Also worth noting, this is a release by Flight Plan, a developer that made a series called Summon Night on the Game Boy Advance and whatnot. An interesting, cool RPG series that is not like this at all.
So I know that nobody would ever like this game. Thank you guys for letting me talk about it. I had actually played this game for 40 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And I beat it 5 times. I don't know why. Well, I know why, because it was a game that I could play while I was moving around and doing things. So I would be waiting to pick up my food from a place and I'll pull out my phone and play a little bit of rounds. And I also use save states because I play this on my phone, which is a perfect way to play this game. With save states on a handheld device that's always in your pocket. That's how you play this shit.
Yeah.
Did you guys try to play this legit?
Yes.
No.
That's good,
which is why I was
cheats.
interested.
The game literally cheats.
The game literally cheats.
I am on Chapter 6. That is where I stopped. What is the name of that guy? Oh, what's his name?
Vegeta?
No, he's part of the Ginyu Force.
Oh, Raccoon?
Yes. I have probably faced this man 15 to 20 times.
That's because the game actually changes its input based on what you pick.
I believe that.
Because I use save states.
Mean?
So I would save state, so they would pick their turn, and I could alter what I did. So I could pick one move, I'll say I picked an energy move, and then they'll do a void. So then I'll load and I'll do a physical move. We'll talk about that. and then they would go from doing avoid, and then when it was all the same turn because I would just reload. Then they would do a different ability, like they would do endurance guard to block it. Still, like the game knows it does its move based on what you pick first.
That is interesting.
And if you pick different beam attacks, the game will actually sometimes do different things or different beam attack or different attacks in general.
If you feel like a game like Fire Emblem, a game that you can also kind of shut off and reload the turn, like that turn is that turn. Once you make your selection, you cannot change it. The CPU will not change.
Game will. This game will alter its moves based on what you do after you pick it.
That is incredible to think about.
Like there are certain attacks in this game, like one attack called SGK attack, which is one of the most powerful abilities. Only 2 characters can use Gotenks and the Boos. Almost every time you do that move, they will block it. It is, I think, one of the most powerful moves in the game, and every time they will. It's very hard to get through. And because I would play with save load, just to see if I did it multiple times. Sometimes it would go through, but most of the time it would always miss, or they would block it somehow.
And the blocking is interesting as well.
I feel like blocking does nothing.
You can manually block too, but the game sometimes that.
You can sometimes do it, and it'll sometimes work, but not always.
It has a 40% chance of working, I think, if you do it right.
But like, let's explain like what is this game to play like to the people who don't know. This is it's interesting. That's not garbage. It's interesting. There's a really cool idea here where you're using cards in a more active way. It's like half cards, half QTE action game. Weirdly enough, like you're playing a 3-punch card and you have to do a QTE correctly to get the punches all done. If you mess up, you have another chance to save yourself. But
But if you hit the A button, it doesn't really save you. It still doesn't do the full thing.
Right.
It just keeps you from getting countered.
Yeah. But there is an interesting element of like having the cards and having a more active battle system. It's also just insanely hard.
You also have like a deck building part, and you also have like key points. You just can't sit there and bust out, Kamehameha after Kamehameha or other attacks. And certain characters, they can, and certain characters only have certain abilities they can use, which I also found out the hard way. Trying
to go between like fucking what's his name, Gohan and Krillin. Goku and Krillin, and just having to swap their cards whenever I try to swap players.
The game does tell you if you press start, you can then look at the card and you can see what characters can use the card.
Yeah,
but you can't have multiple decks.
No, which is really stupid.
Yeah, if I had just multiple decks to assign to each character as I needed them, that'd be great. But this is a Game Boy Color game. You could just have one deck.
Also, weirdly enough, your placement on the field affects your attacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your defense.
Again, really interesting, really cool idea. I actually really like that.
Yeah, and
you go.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, in some kind of weird universe, there's a better sequel.
Or this could have just been on the Game Boy Advance and just done so much better.
Yeah.
Like the way that the battles work is they try to follow the battles in the story of DBZ. They skip a bunch, but they try to follow main ones at least. You have 2 little pixel sprites that you play as, or 2 little sprites, and then you're able to move. It's like six spots in the bottom map and 6 spots on the top map, or maybe
roughly, yes.
And then you can move around each turn on the defense turn. You can either when it's your defense turn, you can either go up and over 1 or down and over 1. And if you're down, you take less beam damage, but you take more of the physical damage. Depending on where you move, if you go backwards and you're farther away from the enemy, then you'll have more defense, but your attack will be less. And if you move closer, your attack will be stronger, but you won't get a defense bonus.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of strategy to it. Like you can there's a lot to this game, and depending on where you are, will also affect what the AI does. Yeah, like sometimes you can go up, so you're weaker to beam attack to bait them to do a beam attack, so you can then dodge it.
This game has a lot of interesting tech.
Yes, for a Game Boy Color game, it's very impressive. Technically, yeah. having played the Yu-Gi-Oh game that was also on Game Boy Color, Dark Duel Stories, this is so much better.
That's not saying a whole lot there. I mean, I can't say much. I played this game for 40 hours, so my opinion is invalid to say anything bad about this game.
You know what? There's
what I wouldn't give to be there.
There's nothing wrong with that, Mike, because like this is anything that's older than like I want to say we probably have the Game Boy Advance and like the Game Boy, the Game Boy Color, and any like Nintendo and Super Nintendo. All those games are made just to be like, all right, we need to convince these kids they didn't waste how much were games back then, like $80 a pop.
Yeah.
Game Boy Advance games were like 30 or 40.
And this must have been dirt cheap when my friend bought it because his parents wouldn't really buy him games. So I'm guessing this wasn't much at the time. And he bought it himself, and he didn't work. So
it's a Game Boy Color game released 2 years into the Game Boy Advance life cycle. So
also, it's probably like a $20 game.
Yeah, probably.
The reason
we probably had it in like 03, so it probably had a short shelf life.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was 03 because it would have been 03 because this would have came out late in 02. It would have been later then for sure.
The DS was almost on the horizon. Think about that.
Wow. Oh yeah, you're right because I got a launch DS, so yeah, that wasn't that far away from then. Damn. This is a really late Game Boy Color game. I guess I didn't dawn on me how late this game was.
And
until this conversation.
Even weirder, like, we talked about it a little bit in the chat. This game is like a pretty decent, like, without you, dying probably every chapter, is a pretty good sized chunk. It's 10 levels or for each arc, and they don't really force you to do things you don't want to, like in the anime. So like Dominic, you didn't get that far, but like you don't have to fight every phase of Frieza.
Oh God.
Yeah, or.
Yeah, just fight final form. You see a little quick image of the different forms, but it's like really quick to show, he transformed.
Yeah.
There's some unlockable chapters as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
There's 2, but did you guys look up how you have to do it?
Yeah.
The game never tells you?
Explain it, please.
Sure. Okay. So in this game, you have an unlockable chapter or 2 that you have to get if you want to unlock a lot of the final characters. What the game makes you do is, in between the battles, you also have small little world moments, which we'll go more into, where you have a level and you can move around. What you have to do in one, you have to talk to Trunks 3 times until he starts repeating his dialogue. Not that unusual. And then you go into the hyperbolic time chamber a few levels later, and you have to check this pot 3-4 times, and it keeps saying empty, empty, empty. You have to just keep checking it. It might have to be 8 times until it finally gives you a card. And then you have to go up to another pot in the same room and check that a bunch of times and gives you nothing, but you have to check it. Then, a few chapters later, when you fight Perfect Cell, you fight Perfect Cell, I think, 3 times. In the very last fight, Trunks will get killed right before the fight, and you have to use Vegeta. And you have to beat him with Vegeta, but it can only be Super Saiyan Vegeta. It can't be, if you beat the game, you get to like a new game plus. It can't be regular Vegeta. It can't be Majin Vegeta. It has to be just Super Saiyan Vegeta. Like, the game gets very particular in what you do. Because it has to follow, I guess, the story of the show, maybe, kind of, in a way? I'm not sure. And then if you do that, and then you kill Cell that way, instead of using Gohan, then you will unlock the EX story, which is where you play as Future Trunks, where he goes back to his future and has to fight. But he has the worst fight in the game, because he has to fight 2 androids at once with only him. So he has to kill 2 people.
Oh my
God. There is a trick, because they give you a card called Stop Device that you can then put in your 20-card deck, where as long as you're standing next to them, you can kill one of them instantly.
Oh my God!
But the question is when you get that card, and if you're able to survive.
So I can think of another game that has a check the pot X amount of times, and you'll get something eventually. Chrono Cross has that.
Oh, it does. I don't know.
A game that is older than this, where you could say Chrono Cross might have inspired this game to have a pot you check X amount of times to get something from it.
It's so dumb. Like it's.
I also have a game that does that, which is also probably a little bit older than this, or older than this, which is Resident Evil 2. If you check Wesker's desk enough, you find that picture of Rebecca.
Isn't that 100 times?
It's like 30.
Okay.
Wow. Now, also, going back to Fire Emblem, there's also a chapter in the original Game Boy Advance release where the game, like it's a chapter that proceeds mostly as normal, but then there's this guy that pops out randomly called a Magic Seal, and he just portrays like a 15 tile limit on like any magic attacks. And it's like, oh, cool. That's like a fun little quirk on a strategy RPG, right? And so if you kill him, though, because you can kill him, he's a character, you unlock like at least 1 or 2 bonus chapters you would never get otherwise. The problem being, you can only use physical attacks, and if you use more than 1 turn to attack him, he will disappear after that first turn. So you have to get everyone gathered around him and just hope you have enough to defeat him in 1 turn using all of your characters.
Wow, that's shitty.
Old games are weird.
Was that a thing back then to do weird shit like that in games?
I mean, it's always been a thing to like subvert expectations and like go for weird quirks on your rules you've set up. I do appreciate that. It's just that sometimes they do it more as a conceptual idea than and more as a fuck you than like, hey, how can we make this like achievable and like cool?
It's also.
I mean, in Dragon Ball Z's in this game's defense, it does give you hints sometimes. After you beat the game, it gives you hints when you talk to people. They'll tell you stuff they didn't tell you the first playthrough.
But only after you beat the game. After you've played everything.
Yeah.
This is.
And they also sometimes lie to you. So
it's like, really? It's oh my god. It's like in Shenmue, right? In Shenmue, you have until like the end of spring to do the quest of the game. And once you reach that point, the game is over. But the game gives you plenty of time to get through the game before it gets to that point.
Wait, like Shenmue 1?
Yes.
What the fuck?
You have until the end of spring. You have like 3 or 4 months to do the whole quest. And you can get it done in a couple weeks. It's not that difficult. But if you just fuck around for months, you can just do that and lose.
Oh no. I spent too many days on Virtual Fighter on Shenmue playing Virtual Fighter, and I wasted the entire game.
That sounds like when I played Persona 4 and I fucked up and couldn't beat the game. So
I just love to think about someone experiencing the end of Shenmue like that when they're in like the forklift phase where they have to keep going back to forklifting for X amount of days.
What the fuck?
I really want to play Shenmue one day.
It's a cool game. Shenmue 2 is the unsung gem, I think. I really want to talk about Shenmue 2 with someone someday.
I play 2.
I can make
2
that.
2 is an incredibly structured game. Anyway, Dragon Ball Z.
The other reason why I fell in love with this game, because I had always liked Dragon Ball Z, but I always kept Dragon Ball Z at arm's length. The show was just too complicated, too much for me to get into. And the VHS tapes at the time were super expensive. So like, I was always looking for a game that I could tell me the whole story of Dragon Ball Z condensed, where I would then understand it to a bit. And that's the one reason I fell in love with this game. This was my first experience with Dragon Ball Z fully. Like I watched, episodes here and there, but it was this game that brought the show together for me for the first time, which is weird to say.
Go ahead.
You go ahead. I was gonna say I came home from school every day and it was on. My specific memory is me being in the bathroom and my cousin screaming that Goku's turning Super Saiyan. I had to bolt over the fucking couch to go see it. So
I always thought it was too difficult to catch Dragon Ball Z after school, so I was just always adjacent to it. I have absorbed parts of the story through osmosis and through having some of the VHS tapes, but like I know this part of the story. I know the part of the story up to where I got to.
I just didn't care. I mean, it just was because every episode you watch, like, to be continued. And I'm just like, this isn't like, it wasn't. Dragon Ball Z is very notorious for things not happening fast enough.
Yeah.
So I wasn't interested as a kid. I mean, that's why, like, with this game really grabbed me because it plays through the whole saga. It does skip the entire Raditz stuff for some reason. It starts off with Gohan being trained by Piccolo, and then you have to fight Nappa, then Vegeta, and you fight Vegeta too many times.
Also, it doesn't do anything with Snake Way, but hey.
It completely skips all that for some reason. I don't know why they jumped right into, the Vegeta stuff and Nappa and skip Snake Way. I mean, it's all based on Gohan at first. Goku doesn't become playable until he shows up to beat Vegeta.
Which is kind of funny when you just think about how constricted that story becomes, where it's just like they just kind of know Goku will be back eventually.
He keeps coming back.
Like he's dead, but like, is he really dead? He's dead, I guess, but.
Like, the reason why I was able to play this game, like I was saying before, like, save states, I was able to load. I mean, I would still lose with save states, and I would be able to know what they were going to do, but there would just be some times where you have a deck of 20 cards, you start off with 5 cards, and each turn you get one more card. Sometimes I had my deck pretty well based in defense, because you also have what's called limit for each character, where you can then set, like, their exclusive abilities you want to set there. Like, for Goku, Spirit Bomb, you're going to set there. And then, like, the way the game plays through as you go each turn, you'll do like what we talked about earlier, 3-stage attack or a 4-stage attack. You get some of these cards just to build up your command. I forget what they're called. They're called
command points.
Okay, and then when you build those up, you can then cast abilities. So the idea is that you build up the command points, and you do one turn you do power up where they get all Dragon Ball Z and have the flames around them and the great pixelated blinking lights at you in the Game Boy Color. And then you can then do your limit attacks, and that's how you mostly play the game. And that's also mostly what the enemy. Almost every fight, except for a couple where Frieza says "fuck you" constantly. The game what the enemy will do is they'll go through, they'll use regular attacks, and then they'll power up. They'll do a regular attack the first turn, and the second turn will be some kind of heavy attack, like a beam or a strong physical attack. That's the normal strategy everybody in this game employs, except and if they get low in health under a quarter, they will hit you as soon as they can with a strong attack.
Yes.
But other than that, they're all supposed to follow that theory. Like, that's how the game is programmed. But Frieza and a few others will just randomly do attacks you can't prepare for. That you'll have no idea.
It felt pretty random. Like, the longer the fights got, it still felt pretty random when they were unleashing the big attacks.
It's not. If you play the game 4 times, there's a lot of patterns to it.
Sure, that's
Except
very
for
fair.
Frieza, Perfect Cell, and Kid Buu are the ones that are all the final fights are notorious for not following that strategy. Most characters will, as long as you do certain things. Like, anytime that you bring their health down too low or you get your health too low, they will then switch up and attack you with a big attack as soon as they can to kill you.
Which makes it really hard.
That's why save states are your friend.
Yeah.
But it's funny that even with save states, you upped your chances of winning, but you have no guarantees.
No, I still lost multiple fights because I would sometimes just take too much damage and not have cards I needed. And I just couldn't I would like Endurance Guard is a card that you can use for any attack, either physical or beam, and it will cut the damage down by a lot. And sometimes it wouldn't work. It would just wouldn't work for no reason because the game wanted you to die. So it did some strange stuff. It really,
yes.
Like, it's a game that I recommend playing with save states because the fights can last anywhere from 5 minutes usually, I think, a fight, or maybe longer because they're slow fights. The game is not fast paced.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like, I completely understand where you're coming from, Dominic, because I think I replayed the opening. I played it the first time, I think 2 weeks ago. I was like, let me go ahead and upload this to my little Game Boy emulator and take it to work. And I played the first 3 rounds, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then and then I uploaded it here at home after I finally had lunch, took a nap and everything. I got the hang of it, so I decided to continue where I left off on my game. Mike, do any of the other weird abilities even fucking do anything? Like the endurance reader, the key reader, that crap?
The game doesn't tell you what they do. The descriptions do not tell you what they do. You actually have to look it up and figure it out on your own. But yes, there's one card that says power fail is the description. What it does is if you use it on the right turn, they happen powering themselves up. It will then make it so they don't power up and they just waste their turn completely. The ones that say key up and some of those random shit that doesn't make any sense. Some will raise accuracy, some will raise attack power, some cancel the enemy's turn, but they don't describe them. The descriptions are terrible. They don't make any sense. Some will tell you, but some just straight up lie to you. It doesn't. You just have to know somehow. I looked online. That's how I figured out some of the stuff. But It's a really strange game.
Now keep in mind, 20 card deck. You have both an attack and defense turn. And your cards can do both attack and defense. Yeah, and you can also
get one card per the 2 turns, though.
Yes, and you can do moves that are that don't cost any points, like a basic block or a basic, not block, but you know what I mean.
There's guard. There's guard movement,
and then a basic 3 or 4 attack, depending on what you've used previously, I guess. But
it's always 3, unless you're powered up. Then it's 4.
Now, do I need those cards in my deck even then?
What was your question?
Well, I need to have those cards in my deck then if they're just going to be there.
Only if you want the 4-stage attack, 5-stage attack, 6-stage attack. Those you want to put in your deck because then you'll get those randomly and you can use them. There's no point in using 3-stage because you automatically.
So the 3-stage cards are useless in my deck.
Yes, they're garbage.
Okay, I should have experimented with that because I thought, if I take that out, the game's just going to disable me doing 3-stage attack anyway.
No, it won't. Those are automatic attacks that every character has that doesn't change. But yeah, the game doesn't. The game doesn't explain stuff, and and when you first start it, Piccolo will ask you if you attack more or if you like beam damage. He says some kind of question if you like beam or defeat, because I can't say kill in this game. So it gives you, and that will alter your entire game based on that choice. But the game does not warn you. It just because if you pick the beam one, or I don't remember what they're called, but if you pick the beam one, you'll unlock more beam cards as you beat people, and there's 2 different pools of cards you can unlock from each player that you beat. And it's based on what decision you say at that first section. It affects everything, the entire game, all your playthroughs.
So this is also Kingdom Hearts.
It's just a weird little thing that I don't understand why nothing is explained in this game and nothing is given to you. You're kind of just. I mean, I knew a lot of this because I played this game a ton in high school, so it was all in my head still. When I started playing, I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew everything made sense, but It's interesting, like with you guys, where I did not explain any of this. You guys were just dropped into the shit with no idea what was going on.
I
mean, it was getting there. Kind of like what Joseph was saying. Like I spent the first few fights being like, I don't know what I'm doing. But in the end, I'm still kind of winning eventually with these, so I guess I'll keep going. You know, if this is what the gameplay is, I guess this isn't so bad. Oh, I'm just fighting this guy 15 times in a row and not winning. Oh, well.
And you get nothing for losing. You don't even get like a consolation prize. Like you have a card. Like nothing.
It's just game over, restart.
I ran into a weird glitch, by the way.
Oh, God.
But before I get into that glitch, I want you to know, Dominic, if I had a choice to play this twice or play Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, I would much rather fucking play Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories sooner rather than later on this show, so...
Yeah.
Will be, yes.
Chain of Memories is a much better game, by far.
It really is. But...
I like Chain of Memories. I like this game conceptually. It's just, oh my god.
So, later on... one thing you'll come across, Dominic, if you continue to play this, is there a reason? Does it affect any of the characters if you switch between normal and like their newer forms, Mike?
Yes, they get more powerful because there's RPG elements to this where all the characters have stats that as you win so many fights, you can upgrade them. That's also a joke because level 2, like 1 to 2 is like 2 fights, 3 to 4 is like less than 5 fights, and then 2 to 3 is less than 5 fights, and 3 to 4 is less than, let's say, 10 fights. And to get to 4 to 5, it is about 90 fights for some reason. So I had nobody. I played this game 5 times, and I tend to use the same characters over and over again. Like Goku, I still could not get him to level 5. And I beat the game 5 times. And there's 30 chapters in the game. So I played it that many times, and I still could not get him to level 5. And I used them quite often.
And I'm showing it with New Game Pluses. You just have all the characters unlocked and can just choose whoever, right? In the chapters.
Yes. But you also don't, like, as you play through the game the first time, they'll say you unlock characters. Like, say you unlock Vegeta, but if you didn't actually do certain steps, you don't get to keep Vegeta. You don't get to keep certain characters unless you actually did what the game expects you to do.
And you've done that by knowing the show.
Partly. Some of the stuff is based on, I think, the show. Some of it is just real random shit that you have to do, I felt, to win, that or like things that didn't make sense to me. Like, example, let's see here if I can pull up the unlockable. Keep talking. I'm going to look it up, see if I can find it.
So while Mike's looking up the unlockable, I will explain the weird glitch I ran into, which made me lose a fight, and somehow I leveled up. There's also a strategy guide. GameFAQs has one strategy guide that I think is considered useful because it actually has what cards you should pick and what limits you should give characters. But what is it? Well, on one of them, it says that you pick Piccolo, and he has, which in the anime is his upgraded form, the Kami form. I didn't have that when I started the Android 17 fight, so as hard as I tried, I did not win that fight. It's with save states and everything. So I was like, you know what? I'll die, and then it lets you reload the fight, change your deck and whatever. And so I did that, and then after I lost the fight, I was like, well, let me go see what limits I can put on. Then I saw that Piccolo had been upgraded to a second form, and I'm like, that's weird. I wonder if that's because I lost or because the game fucking glitched out. I'll never know.
It might have been actually because you lost, to be honest. Were you fighting Android 16?
17, the guy.
Okay.
Yeah, the first time, before Cell.
Yeah, no, that's actually part of the game.
Huh.
Wait, so it knows when you lose?
For very few fights, yes.
Well, that's bullshit.
What?
Like, example, for some of the unlockables, like to unlock Goldo, which is the green guy from the Ginyu Force, you have to beat him with Krillin. Is that from the story?
No.
The anime? Okay. To beat Raccoon, you got to beat him with Goku. I know that's from the story.
Oh, you have to beat him with Goku.
But you have to do it after you have to be your second playthrough, because you can't unlock any of the villains the first time. It's really weird. And some of the characters, to unlock the Z Warriors, they make you do really weird shit to unlock them too. Like to get Vegeta, you have to talk to Vegeta at certain points to get him. Otherwise, he won't be unlockable.
This is just getting stranger and stranger the more you talk about it.
Wait, I literally didn't get Vegeta till my third playthrough through the game because I fucked up the second playthrough and the first playthrough and didn't talk to him at a certain point or didn't use him in a certain fight, so I couldn't. He just didn't unlock for me the first time, even though I followed. Because there's in mid chapters in the first 10, there's a chapter where there's a Namek that tries to hit Gohan, and you have the choice to pick left or right. You have to pick the bottom option of the two, otherwise you won't unlock Vegeta. That's one of the steps to unlock Vegeta. Makes absolutely no sense.
Oh my god! So
what the hell?
Because it's like a text adventure. Do you pick left or right? And
Also,
so both are correct in a way.
A lot of the guides lied to you. Like, there's a bunch of different guides on this game and game facts that you were talking about. They are not all true because I actually found 3 different guides that would tell me 3 different things, and I literally had to do different ones to see what would work. And
What if-
not some guides would tell me the truth, some guides were not telling me the truth. It was really strange. It was very, very hard to unlock all the characters in this game. And I think there's over 20 characters in this game or more. I can tell you shortly, actually.
The way you're making it sound, though, it's very possible that for them, those were the right ways to do it. But the game is just so complex that there's just something else that no one is aware of that is controlling those aspects. So that when,
27 characters.
Yeah,
and that doesn't
when
include
they're doing it.
Some characters have different forms.
Yeah.
And you have to do like certain things to get certain forms in certain orders. Like Ginyu, I had to beat the game 3 or 4 times to get the second Ginyu Goku form because I just couldn't get it. It's really weird.
I mean, I'm sure the game is
like, I had moments in this game when I was playing through it where I would, because I would first, if I didn't unlock somebody, I would just keep going. I'm like, oh, I got to beat the game again anyway to get this character or do this. And it was my last playthrough where I'm like, fuck it, I am not playing through this game again. Like, this is the last time. We're done. So then I would actually, if it didn't unlock, because sometimes I would use the right character and it just wouldn't unlock. I have to reload and beat him again. And also, this game will also trick you where if you do a fight and lose to a fight and do continue, you lost your chance to unlock said character. You have to completely reset the game, otherwise it won't count.
Oh.
And the game does not tell you that. There's a few. Frieza is one of those where you have to beat Frieza with Future Trunks, which makes sense because Future Trunks killed Frieza in the anime. But if you lose to Frieza with Trunks, you can't continue. You have to reset the game and then do it. And Frieza won the hardest fights in the game. It's really stupid. I fell in love with this game. Is this the most
complex game?
I love this game. I think this is, for some reason, I don't know why, just nostalgic rose-colored glasses, one of my favorite Game Boy Color games right now. Because I never put that many hours into a game. That wasn't actually mostly you can't fast forward this game that much because if you do fast forward it, you're not going to be able to do the QuickTime event. So I didn't play this game fast forward that much. I mean, once in a while I did, and I have over 40 hours in it.
Yeah, you have to do all the QTs. You have to do the directional inputs of like left or right. You got to do all that shit.
And I still actually don't have every card, which I was trying, but then I'm like, I need to put this game down and walk away. I stopped trying. There's also a lot of different command cards or like special cards that only work for certain characters.
Right.
There's also dodge cards that only work for certain characters, like Majin Buu, for example, has his own unique blocking beam card called Breath that only he can use. And like certain characters like Cell, because he has Goku cells, he can then use some of Goku's abilities that no one else can use but Goku and Vegito. Like, it's just, I mean, you can check by pressing start, but just like some of the stuff in this game to me is so like impressive, especially for a Game Boy Color game.
Yeah, impressive and complicated and all of the above.
Oh yeah.
The only time the game tells you any of the secrets is when you do the EX stories, the first one with Trunks, when you check. You have to rescue some people, and then when you check these blank spots, the game will tell you, oh, beat with this, press this at this, question mark. It will tell you part of the hint, but question mark the rest, so you don't actually know what you're supposed to do. You can kind of guess, but it locks things away. And the game is very sensitive on also, like you were mentioning, Joe, how different characters have different forms, like Goku has Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3. The game will actually want you to use certain versions of a character to win certain fights to unlock characters, and the guys would be wrong on that in some of those. Like sometimes you have to use the Super Saiyan, sometimes you have to use the regular version of them, sometimes you have to use a level Super Saiyan level 2. Like, for example, for one of the Gohan unlockables, I forget who I was trying to get, but I couldn't use his strongest warrior to get the the Kid Buu version of where he absorbed Gohan. You can't use Gohan strongest, you have to use Gohan Super Saiyan 2 or it won't unlock. And the only way to get Gohan Super Saiyan 2 is to do something really stupid at one point in the game that took me a long. I don't even remember what it was, but I had like beat a certain thing with him in order to unlock him, or otherwise he wouldn't unlock for me.
So like part of me wants to finish this at least once.
Same.
You guys should. You save states, but you should beat it once, but I would never recommend doing what I did.
I'm doing it on the real hardware because that's what I have. I got it. It has to be possible, right?
It has. My friend did it in high school. You just played it constantly at school. And he did it. But we had a lot of time back then.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, you Dominic, you might have to use save states because like the raccoon fight really does fucking cheat. Like there's times where I'm just like attacking him and he just blows my attacks away and like I almost threw my Game Boy across the goddamn room.
There's been so many points where I've been so close.
You also, like, one of the strategies is to do weaker attacks to get them, like, close to their end of health, but not get them to the point where they go in, like, what I call a rage mode. I think it's about a quarter. When they get to the last quarter, they go crazy. And that's when they will murder you. And they don't follow the normal strategy of the game. Because normally the game will pinpoint some of its move, like with powering up. But even then, like, if you pick the wrong card and you just wasted control points you could have used when it was time to kill them. Like, it's just, there's so much stuff in this game where you have to do, like, almost every turn perfectly or you won't win a fight.
Yeah, they also have a very specific way of attacking. Like, I know they won't power up till they've lost at least their first, like, maybe fourth chunk of health. And then whenever they power up, they never use their beam. In the beginning, they never use their beams in the first attack. Their second attack usually always consists of a beam attack. On the rare occasion where sometimes they'll use like a really heavy fist attack. Like, I think, like, for instance, Cell has like a tail attack or something.
He has Cell combo.
Yeah.
Also, they don't all follow that strategy. Some characters later on, like Perfect Cell, for example, will throw you off, and on their first turn, they will usually do a beam attack just to fuck with you because you're used to most people waiting to the second turn.
Again, I like the idea of fucking with expectations and really using the rules of the game to full effect. I would expect nothing less.
But if you get hit by a beam attack, your fight can be over, just like that.
Yeah, like goddamn though.
I mean, one bad turn and you're done. Like, you can't win. And I know for a fact because I tried with save states, and there were sometimes I took a hit, I just couldn't do it. You could not get back from it unless you had. There's only one recovery card in the game, which is Dende.
Recovery isn't it? Recovers HP.
Yes, there's one card that will do it for you, but you don't get it till late in the game.
No, there's two.
Ooh.
Yeah, isn't there Resurrection? Doesn't Resurrection give you health too?
Oh yes, the Resurrection only can be used by Piccolo, and then like Cell also, but it can't be used by everybody.
Okay.
Dende can be used by anybody. But yes, you're right. There's also Absorb Energy, which is a card that only Android 19 and 20 can do, where they can then, it's actually a really good attack. It only costs like 15 CC. That's really low for any of the powerful attacks that can range anywhere from like 12 all the way up to 40. No, not 40. I think it's like 30 for SGK attack. Or maybe it is 40. I don't remember, but it costs 15. It will drain their health and heal you. It's a really good ability, but only Android 19 and 20 can use it, which you can only unlock in your second playthrough. And they suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I actually leveled all the characters. Like, I was trying, anyone I had to use, I would level up in the game, try to get up to 4, because that's the only realistic one. And it just, like, because you can choose from speed, HP, power, or key being your beam attacks, power being your physical attacks, and then speed is completely useless, and every guide will tell you do not upgrade speed or you just wasted an upgrade. Speed just means you attack first. That's all.
Oh boy.
So yeah, don't ever touch speed. I recommend only touch key. Don't even bother the other ones. And the other reason why this game took me 4 playthroughs is in order to get Super Saiyan 3 Goku, you have to get all the other Z characters up to that. And to get one of the characters you have in the, I know it's in the anime where Goten fights Trunks in the tournament in the Buu Saga, and you have to do that fight twice. The first time you do it, you have to beat Trunks with Gotenks, and then you unlock Gotenks. And your second playthrough, you're supposed to play as Gotenks again, but this time lose the fight, and then you unlock Trunks, because you only unlock one or the other in that fight. And the game does not tell you that. The game, every fight you lose, the game, resets. But that's the only fight in the game that you can lose and still progress. And it took me a while to realize that I had to go with Gotenks, lose that fight, and then I could unlock Baby Trunks Super Saiyan. Therefore, I could end up unlocking Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which is the most powerful character in the game. And then I was able to unlock Vegito and Gotenks, that's why I took the game 5 beats, because I didn't get it to my 4th try. So. And you can't level select. You have to play through the entire game. You can only do New Game Plus after you beat the game. Watch all the credits. You have to hit start a bunch of times. You cannot reset the console, and then it will load into the next playthrough, and then you can save the game. Otherwise, you'll have to do the last fight over again if you stop the game or turn it off if you don't go all the way through. It's really nice like that.
Game Boy Advance games are weird. Game Boy Color games are weird.
Color games, yes.
And also, to unlock Gotenks and Vegito, after you beat the game and you have all the Z fighters, or everybody, you have almost everybody, you have to hit start repeatedly at the end screen. The game gives you one hint in a random block if you read it in the EX story. You have to do the EX story, hit start constantly at the end of the game, and then it will unlock them. If you don't do it, it won't unlock them.
I just have no idea. Like, oh my god.
I don't recommend anybody play this game 5 times. Like, I can read off some of the team members for you real fast. Like, you have Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, Goten, Trunks, Gotenks, Vegito, Nappa, Goldo, Raccoon, G, Spurter, Ginyu, Frieza, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, Cell, Cell Jr., Boo, and then the evil form of Boo and his 4 forms, which were a bitch to unlock, by the way. Just to let you know. I mean, and even for a guy who beat this game 5 times, so I did 30 fights. What's 30 times 5? That number. And I beat the game that many times, and I still am missing well over 30 cards.
30 cards?
At least, if not more. I didn't want to count.
You get cards after like every battle.
Yes, but you get the same cards over and over again. The game is not nice. It is not a nice game.
Apparently.
I think this is among the most not nice games I've encountered.
And almost none of this is explained to you. Oh, there's also a couple abilities that, as a character goes Super Saiyan, they can't use anymore. There's one ability that...
I would not be surprised if there is still more to this game that no one has uncovered yet.
Same.
I uncovered a lot in my 40 hours of playing this game with save states. Because with save states, you can really like understand a game's hardware at times. Like you can, save, load, and see how the game reacts to your different moves. So, I mean, that was interesting where the game... That's how I learned the game literally cheats. It knows exactly what it's going to do based on your move. It doesn't just do what you think it will do.
Dominic, we're making him play that goddamn Dragon Ball Z fusion game, right? Because this is ridiculous.
Which one is that one?
It's the one where you get Dragon Ball Z characters to fuse.
Oh, we're 100%.
DS or 3DS?
It's
3DS.
Oh, 3DS, I believe.
Okay, because I wanted to do Attack of the Saiyans at some point.
Which one is that on?
The DS RPG made by Monolith Soft.
Oh, I want to play that.
Xenoblade people.
Oh, there's also a sequel to this game, sort of, called Supersonic Warriors, which I think might be a sequel to this game for Game Boy Advance. But I have not played, but I think it's another card battling game. And I think it's made by the same people, but I could be wrong.
Well, there's also the Switch game, what's it called? Super Dragon Ball Z Legendary World Heroes? That's also a card RPG.
Oh, I did not know about this game. Okay,
yes.
You have my attention.
Let me look for it.
I like Dragon Ball Z games because I've seen all the anime up to the Cell saga when Cell around the time Perfect Cell shows up. That's where I quit watching because I had met my wife. So I got to the Cell games and I quit there. So I know a lot about Dragon Ball Z.
Sorry, I met my wife. I can't watch Dragon Ball Z anymore.
Well, it was because I was sailing the 7 Seas and then we moved in together. So I didn't want to sail the 7 Seas when I was on her internet under her name. That was why I stopped.
Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission is what it is called.
Plus, after you watch all of Dragon Ball, and then you watch that much Dragon Ball Z, and you're watching the movies, you don't want to see Dragon Ball Z anymore for years, by the way. You're like, I'm done. So that's what did it.
So there was a whole series of Dragon Ball Heroes games on the 3DS in Japan, and then the Switch is the first one that we got over here.
There are also Super Nintendo Dragon Ball Z games that have card battling in it, too. So this is a thing that they were doing even before this.
Oh, so this is like the refined version of what they initially had, probably.
Yes. There's also, I think, NES Dragon Ball Z games with card battling, too. I mean, again, none of this stuff came to America, because the first Dragon Ball Z game to come to America is Battle 22 for PS1, which is terrible.
Well, there was at least one on NES that was refitted, not be Dragon Ball, I think. I'm pretty sure there's at least one out there that was, changed.
Okay, but I know we didn't get a Dragon Ball Z game until Battle 22, which is the first one.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's the first game that got released here. Ultimate Battle 22.
Look,
which is not good, by the way.
All I know
I've played that one briefly. Yes, called Dragon Power here, yes.
All I know is I got a Japanese Dragon Ball Z game. Me and my cousin got one for her PlayStation, and you had to buy this big blue block for the back. They had to plug in, and you had to hold the disc drive open with a spring because if you didn't, the game would overheat and your PlayStation would melt. And it went all the way up to GT.
That does not sound worth it. And I assume it wasn't English, was it?
It was not in English. We had no idea how to play it. It was really weird.
Incredible.
I don't think there's... I'm trying to think anything else you guys want to say about this game that we haven't touched on yet? Oh, the music, I guess, is fine. I played mostly mute. It was fine.
I would never expect you to actually play with the soundtrack on this one.
Yeah, same.
I did sometimes. But again, most of this game is played in bathrooms and random moments where I had time where I'm like, just pull it out of my pocket. But it was kind of that game. That's why I put 40 hours into this game.
Yeah. I don't hate this game somehow.
Same.
That's the thing. I don't hate it.
You shouldn't hate it. It's just strange. But you shouldn't hate it because it's...
But there's a lot you can hate about it.
There is. I got mad at it many times. I quit playing it a couple times. Like when I actually, well, this wasn't the game fault. This is my fault. I only had one save slot in the save states, and then I accidentally overwrote it and had to replay like 10 fights and was very upset and was debating to just put down the game. I did not though. I just kept playing.
Oh,
that was on my fourth playthrough.
Wow.
I was obsessed. I have never. It was mostly just a childhood thing because when I was a kid, I played this game on my computer and I was trying to unlock all the characters and I couldn't. So it was kind of like that childhood achievement where when I started playing this game again for the show, which was supposed to be a regular episode, but then I just turned it into a mini because I can.
I'm glad you did because I could never be in this for the regular episode in time. I almost am sure now. This is something I have to like chip away at for a long time.
Yeah, that's just kind of how the game has to be played. Though. I mean, that's how my friend played it. I know he beat it, but he never did unlock all the characters because of the minute little things you have to do is really insane. We were never able to stick to it. Not to mention the internet lied, and it was early 2000s. The internet wasn't the same as it is now. It wasn't in our pocket.
Man,
yeah.
I wonder what like the official strategy guide for this fucking game looks like the one they sold like in stores. It's probably atrocious.
Probably lies to you too. I'm sure they didn't know everything about this game. It's just a really strange game, but it's my introduction to Dragon Ball Z, so it holds a really special place in my heart for this game. But I never want to play it again. After putting 40 hours into it, unlocking all the characters, because I'm done. I never want to touch this game again. I lie. I'll do it again, I'm sure in like 10 years, but I don't want to anytime soon. I mean, in order to get some of the characters, like in order to get Boo, I had unlocked everybody but the forms of Boo. I had to beat the game again. And then you have to beat Boo as he absorbs the different characters. Like he absorbs Gotenks, and you have to beat him with Gotenks. And he absorbs Gohan, you have to beat him with Gohan. And then when you get to the final Kid Buu fight, you have to beat him with Majin Buu.
You're just giving me anxiety just talking about all of this. The more you talk about it.
Oh yeah, and to get Ginyu with Goku, the game didn't tell me what to do. I just randomly used Ginyu in the fight after you beat Frieza, and then I was able to unlock Ginyu Goku. And to unlock Frieza, you're supposed to be able to beat Frieza with either Future Trunks or Ginyu. I beat him with Future Trunks, never got anything, and I beat him with Ginyu, and then I got him. But only regular Ginyu, not Ginyu Goku. That won't work.
That's the thing. There was probably some other determining thing that people don't know about that determined whether Ginyu or Goku are going to be the ones that got the thing.
With Frieza, you also can't lose. The game does not tell you that, but if you lose to Frieza, because I tested this theory, because I lost a lot to Frieza, you have to beat him in one arc. You can't continue the Frieza fight and still unlock him. Frieza was one of the last characters I unlocked to, because he was just so hard to get. And from 3 to 5, I knew what to do, and I think I unlocked him either 4 or 5. I think it might have been 5. He might have been one of the other last characters I got to. Never used him. Oh, and also characters have certain like exclusive abilities that only they can use too. Like that's part of why there's so many cards. You're trying to collect exclusive cards for each. Like Vegeta example has the Gallico attack, Final Flash, stuff like that. Anything else? I think we're almost done.
I have a weird thing to say about this game.
Sure, please.
Did either of you actually read any of the weird ass dialogue?
All of it.
Okay.
All of it.
As much as I got to.
There's it's really weird because like they won't say die, but I very specifically remember a part where Krillin's like, "Oh my God, it's Frieza, and I'm gonna die again, and then you're gonna die, and then we're all gonna die." And I'm like, wow, they said die in like 3 sentences. That's weird.
Then they also say like, I think they said like damn or hell or bastard or something like that as well at some point.
I think they say bastard. I think you're damned. I think maybe they say damn with Vegeta.
I would say bastard.
But yeah, otherwise they never say die. They always say defeat or loss. Like there's like we're gonna get lost. Or we're gonna get defeated.
I noticed that too. And then the only other thing that I've noticed where I got to, which I thought was really, really fucking funny for some reason, was when what happened? I think Goku comes out of his heart attack and he teleports to the ship and Piccolo goes, "Goku, it's you." And Goku goes, "Oh, well, hi, Kamikolo." And he goes, "Don't joke about that. I need to ask you if you're strong enough." And I just know why. It just made me laugh really, really hard.
And the situations.
You can unlock King Piccolo too in this game.
What the fuck?
King Piccolo shouldn't even be a possible ability because it's not Piccolo. You have to, in the EX story, beat the 2 enemies together with just Trunks. And that's how you unlock Evil King Piccolo when you beat the game.
Like the scenarios in this game, from what I experienced at least, are also just ludicrous to think about.
What do you mean?
Like Piccolo training Gohan, being like, "I have placed some jaws around the map. There are some cards inside. Go find them."
There's also hidden cards on these little world map areas that you walk around in. That if you check just random debris, you'll find hidden cards sometimes.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Or if you have to talk to certain people enough times, they'll give you hidden cards too once they start to repeat their dialogue.
The game really just rewards you doing every single thing possible and every time ever.
One of them, Piccolo would disappear and go, oh, find me. And I looked for him, and I'm like, fuck this. I can't find him. I just moved on.
Oh, I know what part you're talking about. Yeah. I
never found him more than once. I just stopped caring.
Yeah, I use a strategy guide for that. Dominic, there's a part where like you go up to Piccolo's Gohan, and he's like, hey, I'm going to go hide. Use your key to find me, and there's like nothing on the screen, and it's like, I guess I'm gonna go look for him, and like it's one of those weird things where like, you know, sometimes in some games if something's invisible and you try to bump into it, you'll stop. This game doesn't do that.
Of course,
you just have to hit A everywhere until you find it.
Yeah, absolutely. I expect nothing less. Pokemon did that.
Yes, it did.
Actually, Pokemon did both, where sometimes you couldn't walk through it and sometimes you could. But if you couldn't walk through it, that was usually like a story thing. Like when the Soul Scope shit happened.
Oh, yeah. I want to replay the original Pokemon games.
It's really something to do at this point. It's really something.
All right, any last things before we go to Shelf Stacker Box? I think we're running out of stuff to say.
My anxiety about this game is just gone 10 times more than what it was now.
For anyone listening, play this game any way you can, because you can't. This is never getting re-released. So It should, but play it any way you can. If you happen to own an Android phone and your phone is always in your pocket, that's the way to play this game with save states.
I would just love there was like a Nintendo Online release where they had the save states built into it, and like everyone could just play it for themselves and just experience it. The Twitter sphere would be on fire.
Oh, here's a funny thing I forgot to mention. So I already had a Game Boy Color emulator, but I literally had to buy an emulator on my phone to play this game because the one emulator I had would not run it. Classic Boy wouldn't run it. I had to download my old boy.
Because it isn't classic enough. It's one of the last Game Boy Color games. They didn't account for it.
It just didn't. Classic Boy runs a bunch of different emulators. It's actually a decent emulator, but it just wouldn't run it. For some reason, it could not run it. And I had another Game Boy emulator, I think, on here too that I also bought like years ago, and that couldn't run it either. I literally had to buy a different emulator just to play this game.
Too complex. Sorry, I can't help you. And that's why it's on a Game Boy Color cartridge, not a Game Boy cartridge. It's too complex for the Game Boy.
I think I got my $2 worth, though, with my 40 hours of gameplay. What do you think?
I got whatever this game was worth when I bought it. I don't know, $10 or less.
Well, now it's in your collection.
And
because you saw my random list of crap that I went to put on the show, and you were like, hey, what's that? We got to talk about this beauty of it.
It's not even that. So, hey, I have that. Let's see if it's any good. And you know what? It's not terrible, but holy shit, does it sound complex and frustrating and evil? And
It is evil.
I would just need to get paid 40 hours a week just to play this.
I want to say something, but I can't. But yeah,
say it.
That's the right way to play this game. Actually, I don't work. I did play it with my old job because I was in between stuff. Like when I'd be walking from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. I would play this game or go to the bathroom like, because it doesn't require much. Pull out my phone, press a button, and wait. Literally, just wait.
And you're not even at that job anymore, so it's okay. You can talk about it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I don't work there anymore. So.
I was gonna say something after the podcast. Dominic, you're in the Shadow the Hedgehog podcast, right?
I was going to be, but I dropped out because I had too much going on.
Oh, damn. Okay. I was gonna be someone that listens to this like years from now, and there's gonna be the Mike Albertin like job loss arc, and where you're gonna put a piece together podcast where when you worked and when you didn't. Because I was listening to that Sonic podcast, and you were talking about like, oh yeah, something at work. I'm like, oh, he didn't work when he still worked when he made this.
It is kind of funny. Like, I mean, that's partly what I do with this show. Is I put a lot of my me into the show. So if people listen to everything, you can hear my arc of what goes on in my life. So this will come out in months later when I already have a job. So.
Like I was in the Life is Strange episode. The Life is Strange episode was right after he lost it, and then that was a weird experience.
That was just very emotional playing. I mean, I beat this game. I mean, playing Life is Strange, the same week you get fired is very emotional.
Yeah.
And playing Shadow Hedgehog while you're looking for a job is also emotional in a weird way because you're like, what am I doing with my life?
Here.
Like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I playing this shit?
Where is that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
Oh, that game was garbage. It's also one of the few games on the show that all four of us boxed. That never happens on the show anymore. There's always someone that likes the game somewhat. All four of us box Shadow the Hedgehog.
Camp.
So I will give you this as the fifth member who wasn't there. I will shelf that game if I could put a bullet hole in
it. You can literally shoot it if you like. You just gotta buy a copy first.
I already bought the copy. If I can shoot a perfect bullseye right through the GameCube disc hole, then I will shelf it.
Okay. All right, let's go to Shelf Stacker Box for this game. I'll go first. I'm actually going to put this on the shelf because, well, obviously I played 40 hours of this game and I really, really liked it. As much as it pissed me off and I thought I was done multiple times, I kept telling myself, no, I'm not going to finish it. I kept replaying it. I ended up going through it for 40 hours, 5 playthroughs, just to get every character for no other reason than to make one Facebook post where I said, I did it. And I hope I don't play this game again for at least 5 years. We'll see if that happens, but that's my goal, to put this game down and not touch it again for 5 years. What about you, Joe?
Man, so do you have to replay the entire game if you want? If you like, when you beat it, you have to replay it all over again?
Every single level, every single open world part, every single fight.
That kind of varies my waverty. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the stack. I didn't hate it that much, but I would be really interested in like being one of those games where it's like, man, I really have nothing to do, or oh hey, the power's out and my Game Boy's fully charged. Let's go ahead and get the old juices flowing and play.
I'm not getting a light for that.
Oh no, I have it's an emulator Game Boy. It's
I know. I have the Game Boy Color without the backlight.
Why?
Real hardware.
Play it on a Game Boy Advance SP.
I could do that.
I recommend playing it on an Android phone. What I recommend. That's the perfect way to play this game.
And I guess it's my turn unless you're done or not done.
I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. I will also put it in the stack. I do want to come back to this. I don't want to box it. I want to give this game more of a shot. This just was not the time. And from everything we've talked about, it was not the time in general.
That happens. I mean, there have been games in the show that I had played that just came at the worst time. Like, I completely get it.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about me I was like, on like at level 4 or 5, be like, this is a little hard, but this is okay. I can get through it. And then it just wasn't.
It gets harder because you didn't get the Frieza. Frieza's freaking terrible. That's like the biggest gatekeeping moment in this entire game. Is fighting Frieza for the second time.
Was that my picture where like I had like a sliver of health against Frieza?
Yes, you were just about done. And that's the worst fight.
That's what that picture was. That's what was going on in that picture. I was not sure what you were talking about. You were talking about having an aneurysm and like is the screen flashing or something?
No, yeah, I had like 1% health.
Oh my god. You're lucky the game was just not like just kill him anyway, it's fine.
It happens.
It would have next turn.
Yeah.
Because when you get that low, any attack will just murder you. And they'll kill you.
Yeah.
The game knows when your health is almost dead, and it will purposely do things to make your health 0 as quick as it can.
Yeah. One thing I learned last minute that will probably save your butt is the weird thing of because there's an attack and defense mode. During defense mode, you can use power up, and I learned how to use limits very last minute. So I was lucky enough to have power up, and then on my defense turn, I had a guru attack, or it was a Kaioken. It was something. And then I had enough limit to do the Super Kamehameha, and that's what killed my Frieza. And I got lucky because it took like 3 retries through the save system.
Once you're past that, the androids you go quick won't be too bad. Cell won't be too bad, so you get to Perfect Cell. Perfect Cell will be a bitch, and then you'll be good until Kid Buu.
Yeah.
And the funny in the Buu Saga, all you really fight is
Rikuum's just there.
Rikuum's hard too. Geese and Birdler aren't too bad. Because once you kill one of them, they can't do their special attack anymore. So then you're okay.
Of course.
Oh, and did you put this in the stack, Dominic? I did not hear.
Stack, yes.
Okay.
Not the shelf. It's not going on the Wall of Fame. It's going just in my stuff.
Okay, just for me. I gotta put in my Wall of Fame because I know I've been talking about this game for years. I won't stop. That's for sure.
That's fair. We can use it a cultural touchstone that's specific to the Mike Albertin Scholarship Fund. Just when Mike Albertin talks about video games and his accepted canon of what's good and what's not, Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Warriors will be there.
I kept calling this Legendary Super Saiyan Warriors too for the longest time before I realized you had the name wrong, Mike. You had the name wrong. So, yeah.
Just saying, you know.
And Dominic, where can people find you at?
On the Overload Facebook group. I'm on Dissonant Waves, the podcast we have on YouTube, on Twitter at DACICHOCKI.
All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, you can hear, I think, one other Dragon Ball episode we've done. I'm pulling that up right now. That did not pull it up.
Funny thing is, this is a mini, so we have no idea when this will go up.
I do. I can tell you after. Or I'll tell you later. I have it. Oh, we did DBZ Legacy of Goku 2, episode 52.
Well, that's
Only
That's
2.
the last. Yeah, that's the last time we've done any. And this will be going up actually August 9th. So a month from now, the time that we're recording this.
Well, again, then I guess I'll just say I'll see you for Radical Dreamers.
Oh, yeah, because that will be coming out. I don't know. That will be coming out in September, probably.
And then we'll do Chrono Cross or something. Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff coming down the road. So
I already played Chrono Cross once this year, so replaying it won't be as bad. I know what to do now.
it's a good game. I hope.
Good game.
I don't know.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
Oh, right. And if you enjoyed this episode, we have over 350 other episodes. Definitely go check out all our content. If you can't find what you're looking for on Spotify or iTunes, everything is on Podbean. So please go there. And you can find our entire catalog. And yeah, check us out and leave a review on Podbean, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a review. It helps us out a lot. Also, I'm going to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell Hatsphere. You can follow her on TikTok. And give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who did all the MCU movies, started his own podcast, A Gamer Looks at 40, where he interviews people about how video games affect their life. So check him out. And we have a Patreon. For as little as $1, you can help us out and vote in our Patreon polls. Each month we have a different poll of 4 topics you get to choose from and what we will end up reviewing. So definitely go do that. It helps us out and makes me super happy just to see people vote. So do that. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. Audio only, but we are on YouTube. And that's everything I need to say because I need to be done. All right, everyone have a wonderful night. Bye, everybody.
You too. Bye.